Hey guys, I'm in Orlando, Florida at New Growth Urban Farm. This is kind of surreal to see a 1/4 acre urban farm like this that is very, like, it is so similar to my operation that it's surreal to watch. But these guys are crushing it. They're doing pretty much everything you've seen me do in my videos as far as crops. They're selling to exclusively restaurants, or mostly exclusively. Like I think they do one farmer's market a week, but these guys are crushing it. They're two couples that are partners. They just had 2 babies that are the same age as my daughter, so it's really cool being here. I'm gonna catch up with them and learn all about this urban farm operation here in Orlando.
This is New Growth Urban Farm. We're 2 families. We live next to each other, and we are urban farming in Orlando.
Awesome. So the whole farm is what? 1/4 acre?
We grow on about 1/4 of an acre with 2 plots and a little micro plot that we do at a restaurant called Dandelion. But just this plot, our homestead, is about 5,000 square feet.
And how many beds?
Maybe more, because we just added the front yard space, but...
Oh man. So so these are for sale. We were talking a little bit about this earlier, but that kind of puts you guys in a slightly precarious position, hey?
Yes. We're gonna be moving our farm probably by the end of the season.
And you're working out like a new place to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
A few acre lot.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully it all pans out.
So talk about maybe your guys' markets and the kind of crops you're growing. Like where are you guys selling and what kind of stuff are you growing?
We focus on wholesale to different restaurants in town. That's our favorite thing to do. We've all worked in restaurants and we love providing food to the chefs for their creative endeavors.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also do Audubon Market. It's a small local market in the Audubon district here.
Every Monday evening.
Yeah, Monday nights, 5 to 9, which is cool.
Nice. So this is the home base.
Yeah.
So it's all like high rotation crops in the field, greens, see some cilantro. How's the cilantro for you guys?
Great. We sell out. Like,
really?
Yeah, people want it. Micro cilantro, regular cilantro. I guess everyone really likes cilantro.
It's a big thing down here.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're like begging for it to grow faster so that we can provide to as many chefs as we can to have the bunch of cilantro.
So you guys are renting this place. How did the initial conversation with the landlord, like how did this all go?
My partner Jordan's been living in the house next door for about 5 years, so he's had a pretty good rapport and relationship with them. And then Mike and Nikki have been living with them
we lived there for almost 3 years.
3 years.
So yeah, on this property for about 3 years now.
So the landlords already knew that we were growing gardens and there was a lot of permaculture happening in the back for a really long time.
Yeah.
And we told them we were going to be farming. They don't live in town, so they've never actually seen it in person until they started selling the houses. Then they got a fuller scope.
They got all the pictures.
But for them, it's more legality, is making sure that we're not going to be in trouble, they're not going to get fined, and so we've been very clear that that's not, like, we're a business and everything's safe on this space and that they're not in any trouble or
they don't get fined or anything.
That's their biggest concern.
Are they concerned that it's going to make the properties more difficult to sell? Because buyers might come here and be like, what the hell is this?
I believe so, yeah. The realtor has expressed that she, there they go, that she was thinking that legally we weren't supposed to be, growing here and it's not agriculturally zoned, and we had that whole conversation, but I mean, it's more of just like a she just doesn't think it'll sell because people won't know what to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we've had a couple people look at it, and the realtors, and I mean, when we leave, the farm leaves. It's not like we're gonna leave you a farm for the people, you know.
We'll leave you really great soil, but other than that, we're taking it all with
us. It's just crappy lawn anyways, right?
Yeah, exactly. It'll go back in a year.
Yeah.
I just can't say enough about how great these tunnels are. We've done some of our own modifications in terms of trellising infrastructure just based off of what we've had on hand and resource what's immediately available to procure. But I mean, it's well worth the investment.
Oh, is they're not expensive.
Protected culture, and that's a big element that I've picked up from you and from folks like JM as well. Like protected culture, season extension. That's the key.
So, you just got these.
Dude, we just got these.
Yeah, because you didn't have a tomato crop in the spring, I guess, or you did, but it was outside.
It was all field.
We did not because the frost got them.
Oh, that's right. They got hammered by the frost. Right.
But all the growing that we had, the one frost,
So when were these planted? These tomatoes in the ground?
Planted
end of September.
September.
Wow. These are like a month and a half old.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They're huge, and we do an every other week fertilization on them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Dry fertilizer?
Yeah, it's a dry granulated fertilizer. And
what is it?
We'll do a foliar spray as well, and that's a mix of seaweed and a Neptune's tomato and veg formula, which has been great. I mean, they've been really happy with that schedule, and as best as we stick to it, they're loving it, and they really like the hard pruning.
Yeah.
You know, you keep the right amount of foliage that they need to photosynthesize, and prune the rest out, and they really love it. Getting the suckers off, I mean, it's just great. So it's interesting because not only is it just production beneficial to hard prune and to do those techniques, but it seems like the plants respond better to them as well. You know, because you see a lot of indeterminate tomatoes that maybe aren't managed so well. They're just a mess, but they don't produce and they're not healthy. So tomatoes are an amazing crop, for the agricultural revolution. And like you were saying last night, we're the beneficiaries of the agricultural revolution. And this is one of those crops.
It is, yes.
Everybody loves tomatoes, really. And if you haven't tried one fresh from the farm.
Yeah, totally.
That's a game changer.
Totally.
But yeah, we're really pleased because even with some of the varieties these Romans that we haven't tried before, I mean, their productivity is just fantastic. I mean, they look great, fruits look great. I mean, I wouldn't change one thing about this production operation right now in terms of our tomatoes. It's been that great. So these beds were a primary plot for us, but then when we moved the tunnels in, we had to adjust the lengths of everything to accommodate them because we wanted true 50s under the hoop houses. So we also made those true 50s as well, which then of course made these what were 25-foot beds previously a little awkward.
Yeah.
So we just reshuffled and modified it to fit. And these 4 20-foot beds are going to be just kind of experimental. If we can grow some edible flowers and stuff and sell them, then we'll do that. But we're not. This is kind of anti-principle to a degree, but we're not really banking on these. We want to use these just as trial beds.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of space to trial in. But the smallest space we're gonna kind of save to trial.
It's a great idea.
Experiment with some things.
Have you guys had much problems
Flowers
with
have been nice.
Have you had to do any tree management? Because it's like you're surrounded by trees, but you got. It seems like
we've done a lot of cuts here.
You have, Okay.
The winds, rains, and hurricanes take care of pruning that tree. Just recently, to the expense of some of the plastic on the hoop house. But yeah, we've certainly back here on the northern end, we've had to go up there and actually do some limbing just to make sure that everything that we were keeping under here was going to be as protected as possible. But again, considering we don't own the land, that's a couple $1,000 tree job just to do. So
absolutely,
we weren't going to necessarily put that in. So we're like, okay, what's going to be the most bang for our buck and not put us in a place where we need to spend more money just to get the basic infrastructure that we need to really produce. And it's been just the simple tree work that we've had to do. You can see though, I mean, even as it's getting into autumn, sun's dropping south, you can see the shade cast. At this time of day, it'd be great to have open sun, but 100-something-year-old oak. I don't know if I have the ethics even to take that thing down, you know what I mean, at this stage. But it would be nice to even have that opened up. But we've had to do a little, and a lot of that's just been based off of our preference and what we thought was going to be, like I said, the most bang for our buck, just to get production going well. If I did own the land, I'd be pruning heavily.
It's a pretty sweet like rental scenario. I haven't seen this ideal of an urban farm scenario before. Like, I kind of had it, but then I bought my place.
Yeah.
It only lasted like a couple years, and they were gonna sell, and I was like, well, I have to buy it.
I'm often reminded of that when I think about the predicament that we're in with this place, and it's encouraging to me ultimately that, you know, it's just part of the process. It's part of the growing process, and we were really adamant about starting a farm in Orlando, and this is what we had available. And at the, you know, the landlords were great to allow us to do this. They had no reservations on it at all. The caveat was that they didn't want it to cost them any money, right? Naturally.
That's what I told them.
So, barring that, I mean, yeah, it's been a really great setup, and it's been great to get our feet wet in terms of how to do profitable urban farming, profitable market farming, and we've hit our goals. I mean, we've really hit our success points on what we were trying
you guys are
to
making
achieve.
a living at this now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be better, and we're working to make that better always. And we're also learning what the possibilities are with each segment of land. So now, if we move to a larger space, this is one block, right? So now we'll know various ways of how to manage one block, and then be able to apply that to several blocks, you know, of 100-foot beds or whatever the case is. But I think the one thing that I'm really encouraged by, and you know, I look around, I'm always like, and we tour other farms, I'm like, man, I wish I had a piece of property this big and could do this and could do that. But the one thing that really I'm constantly reminded of in myself is that if you want to do it, just start doing it, and the results will show. Especially, it's a great thing about agriculture. A seed is intended to grow, you know, so you give it as favorable conditions as you can, and it's going to grow, and you can see the results of that over the course of that time. But not to be discouraged by market issues, or not to be discouraged by land space issues, which is a growing concern, certainly in the United States of America and around the world. You know, if you have even just a small plot, like, we could make decent money just off of a plot this size. We're blessed to have two, you know, but just try it, just do it, you know, and then see what can result of it. And I think that's one thing that we really appreciate from how you promote market farming, is that it doesn't matter your size of land. If you're dedicated and committed to doing it, and you can put good systems in place, you're gonna do it well.
So how many microgreens are you guys, or how much, like how many flats of microgreens are you doing a week now?
About 15, 20, depending on the week. We do about 2 sessions of microgreens so that we have it constantly being cut.
It's nice. Cilantro.
Also being able to have enough space for them.
Is that purple opal basil?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lots of peas, the chives. So all your plugs and stuff over on this side, all the micros on this side.
Ideally. That's the goal.
You could always expand this too if you wanted to.
Yeah,
right?
we thought about doing shelves up top.
Yeah. This is just one of those those like little garage things, right?
Yeah, our neighbor.
They're great. They're great. They work.
It was great for our first nursery.
When our neighbor moved, she said, I don't need this thing anymore. We're like, perfect.
Done.
First greenhouse.
Done.
There we go.
Easy.
Nice. So it's like working.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful for what we need at this stage, but when we're ready to
Oh, did the bee
expand.
sting you?
Oh, did you get a sting?
Let me see.
Oh.
You can't mess with the bees, but I think it's on his thumb.
So, baby got stung by a bee. That's the perfect time to wrap it up. We're gonna have lunch here, but I'll leave a link to these guys and you can check them out. If you're in the Orlando area, come and support these guys. You know, it seems like there's a lot of, the market needs to, people need to learn about the market here. There's not a lot of people there's not like a culture of local food here like there is in some other places. So I think it's awesome what these guys are doing, but more people got to come out and support them. So come and check them out at the market, and check them out. I'll leave their website or their social media below. All right, guys, talk to you later.